All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We are super excited to have Uche Odiatu with us today, and we're talking about the ultimate survival guide to staying healthy during crisis. So it's a very fitting topic for us to help us through this times, but also to help our patients as well. So I'm just going to read Uche's bio before we get started. So Dr. Uche Odiatu is the author of The Miracle of Health, a professional member of the American College of Sports Medicine, an NSCA certified personal trainer, and a certified yoga instructor. I didn't know that. This dentist has given over 500 lectures in the past 16 years across Canada, the USA, England, Jamaica, the Bahamas, Denmark, Bermuda, and Norway. That's amazing. That's like so impressive that you've been all over and doing what you love so passionately. Like I've seen you present a few times and you're always so motivational, so high energy, and we're really excited to have you with us here today.
Yeah, thank you. It's so much fun sharing from the heart. I think I've been a dentist for over 25 years, but I've been exercising and looking at supplements, nutrition for 40 years. So it's who I am. It's my essential self. So I always thought, how could I transfer this information chairside? And it's very germane to the conversation. I think a lot of times hygienists and dentists think all patients want to know is oral or dental related stuff. But I think hygienists and dentists don't realize how many hours of nutrition and overall health we get in our training. And we get as much nutrition or more than the average physician. Some physicians get 0 in their 4 years. The maximum is 22 years at Tufts. So Tufts University in England, in North America, in America, they get 22 hours. So the average dentist gets more, and most hygienists approximate that. So it's well within our scope of practice to talk nutrition and health and lifestyle, and patients are starving for it. I think they have very little time with alternative health people. So they're looking for nutrition, sleep information, stress management. And I see the hygienist, 2, 3, 4 times a year. I think it's our place to talk total health, and it makes the whole appointment even more fruitful and health providing. So that's where I come from. So I'm really trying to inspire hygienists and dentists to realize it's our place to talk whole body health, and patients are starving for it because they're not getting anywhere except Dr. Oz maybe and the National Enquirer.
Right.
So evidence-based information is so pertinent.
So that's really what drives you to sharing so passionately about health and wellness. And that's amazing. And
so lucky to benefit from all of that. Because it's
it don't happen so too though. If I want to be good at sharing it, I need to be living it. Like, it's one thing to talk health and wellness, and if I wasn't living it, it doesn't come across authentically. But the whole, when you look at any performer or teacher, if you're living it, it just oozes from you. Like, health oozes from you. Like, you smell, breathe, look health, and then it becomes easy to talk about other things because you look healthy, smell healthy, you feel healthy, you're speaking, and patients just go like, I want teeth like yours. They want what you have in a way. Mm-hmm. So it makes it easier for your treatment plans. It's easier to be more convincing in other areas just by being a healthy care provider. They always assume you're super healthy because you're a hygienist or a dentist. And they're always shocked if someone smokes, or they're shocked if someone doesn't take supplements, or they're shocked if you don't do this or that. So, but I think living it makes it easier. And if you have some of those daily disciplines, you can definitely be a very good influencer, like chair side for sure. And then amongst the team, and hold yourself up to a higher standard. What were you going to say? Sorry, Anna. What were you?
Oh, no, exactly. And we appreciate that you've been, as we talked earlier, you've been on the View before. And one of the things that I remember you talking about was, if you read a study and you keep and you remember the really good points out of it, and you keep using it for like that week, that's your piece of your pearl for that week, then you impart that, and all of a sudden that becomes part of your mental library. Mm-hmm. of things that you can share.
Mm-hmm. And it becomes yours forever. And I think because I said, so right now, if people are just watching and not taking notes, the retention is about 5% after 48 hours. But if they take notes, it goes up to 15, 20%. If they actually take action on something today, it's something new they've learned by midnight, the retention goes up to 50%. But if you actually share it with a sister or a spouse or a son or a mother, now it becomes your 90% for yours forever. Like,
Wow.
if you hear the fact that as BMI goes up, so as body mass index goes up, so if the heavier one gets, independent of all hygiene practices, independent of how good your clinician is, just being, the higher you go up in BMI, the more background inflammation you have in your body and the more inflamed you are in the mouth. So all things held constant, like smoking, hygiene frequency, the higher the BMI someone is, the more inflamed their mouth is, irregardless of how well the good hygienist is, irregardless how good the crowns are. They'll always have more inflammation. And that's just a fact. All these studies have been duplicated over the last 15 years. So that's good to know, because 7 out of 10 patients are overweight or obese. So if you're overweight or obese, these people have background levels of inflammation over above. So it's always frustrating thinking, why is this person not getting better? Well, 7 out of 10 of your patients that we see every day will have a background level of inflammation. So if you share that with a spouse that's annoyed that, he wants to go back to a twice a year hygiene frequency, but the hygienist is saying, no, you're bleeding, your gums are bleeding, you're pocketing, you've got to keep you at 3 and 4 times a year. And then if the hygienist learns, hey, my husband or my wife is, her BMI is 28, 29, that's the reason. So, and if you share that, now it becomes yours, so it's fascinating when teaching something makes it go deeper into your brain. I think it's called neuroplasticity, and it's there's actually a neurotrophic factor called BDNF. So if you exercise, you have more of this neurotrophic factor. So BDNF acts like Miracle-Gro in your brain. So people who are physically active have more of this neurotransmitter, which is like Miracle-Gro sprinkled in their brain. And all 100 billion neurons communicate better with each other. So you'll be better able to learn, better able to remember, you'll be sharper, you'll see patterns, you'll have good pattern recognition. So it's fascinating how it all blends into each other, and you'll be better chairside. So it's amazing when you start living this whole health lifestyle. It's very attractive because you get benefits immediately. You don't have to wait for 6 years. Like after the first meal, the body is able to digest better and you'll have less inflammation in your body. Just like in a junk food meal, it's called metabolic endotoxemia. People who have elevated inflammation, free radicals, brain fog, simply from one meal. And so we've all been there where you've had a big meal that wasn't good. Within hours, you feel kind of foggy because you have metabolic endotoxemia. So.
Wow. You're touching on all of these different aspects of health, on the microbiological level, to the way we feel, to the way we smell. But why do you think that most of us, when we think of health, we're so focused on just weight loss?
Oh, such a good question. I think only because we always think that as long as you're skinny, you're healthy. And they've shown now you can be a skinny, fat person in terms of skinny on the outside, but more visceral fat and not amount of lean muscle. But I think the media does a wonderful job making us all feel inadequate. Like, who doesn't think I need to look perfect 24 hours a day? So this whole health thing coming down to weight loss is kind of misguided, because they've even shown that the biggest benefit is that exercise. This is from the Compendium of Physiology. They've actually shown that exercise can be a preventative and a treatment in 35 different chronic conditions, 35, irregardless of weight loss. So just being active on its own, irregardless of weight loss. So I'm trying to let everyone off the hook. So do the Zumba, do the yoga, do the Tai Chi, do the weight training, and don't be so focused on the weight. And your body is still benefiting from having a lower inflammatory load, simply because exercise is so anti-inflammatory and has so many emotional balancing things. But also, it also helps with the bacteria in our body becomes more diverse when we're active. So, and if you have more diverse flora, you have more beneficial bacteria, which keep the pathogens in place. Yeah. And it's all from exercise, and weight loss doesn't have to be there. So the media wants to think about weight loss, but at nighttime, when you have a 5-foot TV, you see the burger and fries 5 feet across. And then, so half the commercials are to make us eat more, and half the commercials are to help us lose the weight. And the weight loss industry is $60 billion a year. So they feed us, and then they tell us you don't look good. So it's frustrating. But I realize it's economics, but we can't get drawn in. We can't get drawn in.
So what's more important, the exercise or the diet? So if we're going to spend those minutes trying to influence our client, which way do we go?
Yeah, good question. I think they're equally important. I think most people focus on it's easier to eat healthy than exercise. There's more people buying organic food. There's more people eating vegetables and fruits than exercising. But exercise is such a small used tool to look better. I think I just saw recently on CP24 about 3 months ago, had a little survey across, and it said they surveyed adults in Canada, and only 16% have a regular physical activity habit. But when push comes to shove, they said only half of those, so it's 8%, really do exercise. But they said, all my exercise science journals that I get, because I'm double started as a trainer, they said that exercise has a better system-wide crosstalk with all your organs and tissues and cells than eating healthy does. So you get more bang for your buck exercising than eating healthy. So you'll get more bang for your buck being physically active every day, because you can actually be physically active and eat horribly, but because you're physically active, you'll sleep better, your biome will be better, and your blood pressure will be down, and you'll have better lymphatic flow. So if push comes to shove, I'd say exercise is more important. You get more benefit from being a regular physical activity person than eating healthy. Because eating healthy on its own is great, but it doesn't give the system-wide effects that being physically active does. So that's an interesting new, and this is all from, it's March 2020. So
Wow.
American College of Sports Medicine Journal. So this is wild. Like I said, being physically active is more important than eating healthy.
I think too, when we talk to our patients, at least, or when I talk to my clients, for some of them, it doesn't mean that I'm asking them to do like a 5-mile run or 5 kilometers. Activity could be for them just going for a walk at lunchtime. It could be taking the stairs versus the escalator. And when I travel from sitting so much on the airplanes, I am that person that takes the stairs as everyone's walking the escalator, because I feel like I need to get my body up in motion. So I think the perception is that people feel like they've got to spend 6 hours in the gym, and that's not the truth. It's just a matter of getting motion and getting movement, right?
And yeah.
Well, it's very, they said it's that whole philosophy of an hour a day, it's called moderate intensity steady state exercise, MISS. And they said that's a very 1990s way of getting in shape. And just like you're thinking, well, why is this? People always think exercise and nutrition science shouldn't change. But when you think of medicine and dentistry, it's always changing. There's about half the procedures, even medical doctors from 50 years ago, they're no longer doing. So exercise science has now said that interval training, and it's called exercise snacks. So having bursts of activity throughout the day. So taking 3 minutes to go down some stairs and come back up every hour, they said could actually get you fitter faster than spending 30 minutes all at once after sitting all day. They called it, sitting is called muscular unloading, or it's deconditioning your muscles. And that's what they call sitting the new smoking, because literally Henry Lodge, the interest in New York City, said sitting for long periods of time sends decay messages to your body, decay. And it tells your physiology that there's a famine coming. Because 100,000 years, over the last 100, 200, 300,000 years of human history, anytime cavemen and cavewomen sat a lot, either famine was coming or they were near death. So anytime we sit for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, our ancient cells is saying death is near, or there's a famine coming, store fat, store fat. And you can't get around that. So sitting is an independent risk factor for dying from cardiovascular disease. So
Wow.
it is wild. Like I said, I'm saying it in a way, and hopefully it'll ring home for some people. So an Australian study said literally every 30 minutes we need to get up and stretch. Every 30 minutes, stand up, stretch, stand up, go to the kitchen, get some water. And that tells your body you're still young and that you have time left. And it tells you to be a fat burner. Every 30 minutes it is to get up and
I have my Fitbit.
Yeah, and the good news for Beth and I is that we can run after our kids, and that sometimes takes 3 minutes every hour, every half an hour. It's like, come on, help me out, get this done. So for all of us busy moms at home, we're staying active, right? That's a good sign, right? We're getting off, we're getting up, we're getting motion, and we're running after our kids.
perfect.
And my Fitbit actually reminds me every hour to walk. It's like it buzzes and it's like do 250 steps. So then it reminds me, then I get up and I'll walk outside or around the house.
And it rewards us. It gives us rewards if you do it. It's like you made all of your motions in this period of time. It's kind of exciting that, you know, we always want to have that satisfaction, that gratification. It's like, okay, I did what I was supposed to do, and so this can help me do it.
Well, you learn the habit, and then you start feeling you look better, you feel better, and there's no downside from getting up and stretching. So I know that if there's people in a wheelchair or they can't sit up, you can still stand. You can still do, if you do this for a minute, you will get your heart rate up. So there's ways to get moving and get your blood flow going. It's called to get out of that inactive physiology. Inactive physiology. So just think about it. Anytime we sit for long periods of time, think of decay in the mouth. So our body is decaying. You sit long enough, it's decaying. So Henry Lodge, an internist, said it's physically decaying your body, and there's famine messages being sent. Famine meaning store fat. So, but you can get your body out of that, almost like you see a DJ scratch a record, by just standing up and moving, and it reminds the body that you still have time left on the planet. It reminds you to be a better fat burner. So the Australian study said it's every 30 minutes. Some say every 40. Don't get hung up on the minutes. I know us dental people get hung up on the minutes. So think of every half hour, stand and stretch. Every half hour, get a drink of water. And it's a good way to keep your physiology youthful, very youthful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, Uche, how does sleep play a role in our overall health?
Yeah, I used to call sleep being a pillar. It's a great question, Kathleen. So we don't realize how badly we sleep. We don't realize how badly our patients sleep. So the Center for Disease Control Atlanta said 100 years ago, only 1% of the population slept less than 6 hours a night. Only 1%. It's now 30%. So 30% of the population, 30% of our patients sleep less than 6 hours a night. All the sleep scientists now, neuroscientists say, anyone that's sleeping less than 6 hours a night, which is a third of our patients, has poor healing at nighttime. They have higher levels of background inflammation. They'll have a poor memory. They have poor emotional intelligence, more likely to have outbursts. They're more insulin resistant. They're better at storing fat, and they'll have accelerated aging, and they'll have weaker immune systems. That all comes with 6 hours or less sleep, so that you can't get away from that. Even people that say, oh, I don't need much sleep, I can get by on 4. Well, getting by means you're not living healthy. It means you're getting by. So they said there's a gene called BHLEHE41, and it's only in 0.05% of the population. So it's very rare that anyone can truly be healthy and sleep less. So otherwise, anyone who sleeps less than 6 hours, immune system poor, accelerated healing, more body fat, more insulin resistant, poor emotional intelligence, and poor memory. They said one way to have a better memory is to sleep better. So people who sleep better, you'll always find, will have always more retention. So important chair side, important for remembering post-op instructions and remembering people don't like a pillow when they're in the chair. They like what kind of pillow they want, remembering what they like on the TV or what kind of music they like. So sleep is not just a pillar, it's like a bedrock, it's foundational, really.
I find that people that don't sleep well tend to stick with the comfort foods because they make them feel better. Because when you don't sleep well, you don't feel well. So, any guidance on choosing comfort foods or how we can educate our clients and give them some tools?
Yeah, great question. I guess I'd always say make that part of the recare exam or the new patient exam. Because most dental industry think of snoring. They're all so focused on sleep apnea. It's about 15 million North Americans, adults. But however, a lot of people sleep 8 hours or they just sleep 6 hours. They're sleeping not enough or also sleeping enough, but they're sleeping in poor quality. So I make that part of my recall discussion. So if I look at someone who doesn't look great or they look a little tired or I'm sure every hygienist has seen a patient fall asleep. Like, how can you fall asleep getting your teeth cleaned, right? Or during probing. Who sleeps during a probing except people who are sleep deprived? So I'd say a question, so how are you sleeping these days? And someone say, oh, I'm sleeping horrible ever since the birth of my child, or my husband's a police officer, or he or she comes in the middle of the night, wakes me up, or you'll get someone who's 65 saying, as a man, male patient, I'm up 4 times a night peeing because of benign prostate hyperplasia. And then you'll say, did you realize, even though you're doing amazing every place else, your poor sleep is like creating a background level of inflammation. And inflammation is part of almost every modern disease. And every patient knows that. If you said poor sleep is part of it, you have chronic levels of inflammation, regardless of how good you are, and I know you're well-intentioned, but it's a key player in every disease. And they'll say, what can I do? So as a hygienist, what can you say in a few minutes? You can talk, well, you can wear a sleep mask, sir. They say wearing a mask at nighttime could block out light to make you sleep deeper. There's also orange glasses. Harvard did a study with orange glasses, and wearing orange glasses an hour before bedtime can also help you sleep deeper. With the microbiome, they've actually shown people who eat more fiber also sleep deeper. Because the minute your bacteria are getting the fiber they want, all of a sudden they will sleep. They'll allow you to sleep. But if your bacteria aren't getting a certain amount of grams of fiber every day, they will be disrupted, and they're the ones not letting you sleep at nighttime. And many people have dysbiosis, bloating, constipation, GERD, irritable bowel, and that all prevents you sleeping deeply. So sleep is powerful, and the minute you start talking about sleep, all kinds of other things come up. So I'll often document in the chart, discuss sleep. Patient doesn't want to take any action now, suggested a few items, we'll circle back in 3 months, told them about the sleep-mouth connection, and now we'll move on to something else. And the patient goes, wow, this hygienist, I'm so glad I'm at this office. I'm so glad this dentist is talking to me. I've never heard this. I hear people are 50, 60, 70 years of age, and they're saying, I've never heard this before. So I call it value added. I don't charge for this, but it's value added if hygienists and dentists talk about this. And people are starving for it. They're starving for total body health.
How do you suggest the hygienists bring it up in their examinations or in their time that they have with the patient? Because we can really do nutritional counseling. It's part of our role, but a lot of people don't necessarily either feel comfortable or they don't find the time or maybe the value. Maybe you can give us some input on how we can approach that subject.
Well, I think if you're actually doing it, the minute you're doing it yourself, even if you don't have to be like Jennifer Aniston Lean to talk nutrition, like the minute you're on your own journey to health,
Yeah.
you feel more confident because you're holding yourself accountable. You say, you know what, I have my own journey. I've just lost 3 pounds, or I just started taking probiotics and I'm finding I'm feeling really good about it. You're not telling them to take them. You're saying, I'm on my own journey. Or I started reading this book called Diet Myth. It's great. It's amazing. Oh, tell me the name of that. So it's on my phone. I do audiobooks because I found that audio makes me, I'm going to listen to the whole book. And I say, here, take a screenshot. And patients love a screenshot of a book, especially from a dentist, because they look at you like God, like you're their role model, like hygienic. They love your teeth. They love how you're saying. If whatever book you're listening to now, they want to take a picture, screenshot, and now they'll increase the chance of them downloading it. Okay. So I think if we're working it and on our own journey, it makes us a lot more credible, authentic, and we can get people better. Like it's frustrating people aren't getting better. Like only 10% of people floss. Let's get them better. Like, but if you start looking at the lifestyle habits that impact their mouth, now you become an integrative healthcare provider. I'm an integrative healthcare provider. I'm not just a dental hygienist. I integrate other modalities into my conversations. It's all within your scope of practice. It sounds wonderful. You get patients addicted to you. I have patients change it and say, you know what, my husband's going to get a new dentist. It's going to be you, because his dentist, all he talks about is veneers. So patients love total body health.
So you integrate it as part of like their goals when they're leaving, like to help them mold into like a bigger picture of a whole body health, like a person-centered care type of vision.
Yeah, I chart it though. So
yeah.
You can say or you can simply say, we talked about sleep debt today, and this person's a nurse. So a third of patients are sleeping less than 6 hours, which means they're sleep deprived. So their background levels of inflammation, they're insulin resistant, they're poor emotional intelligence, weaker memory, higher levels of body fat. So we talked about sleep today. Patient wasn't ready, because you always know when patients' eyes glaze over, don't push the conversation. Why annoy them? And I get that. All my patients don't look like P90X Tony Horton. I have a lot of patients like you, but if it looks like they're interested, I push it more. If it's not mentioned sleep, patient not interested with the conversation, we'll revisit next time because it's important, and I'll just make that little note. So, but if patients are interested though, because I don't have time to break out and do a 6-hour PowerPoint, what I'll do is I'll mention a couple of books. So if it's sleep, I'll mention a really good sleep book. If it's diet, I'll mention a diet book. If it's exercise, I'll mention the latest nutrition book. The exercise book. There's one called The 1 Minute Workout by Martin Gabala. And patients are, because you go online, there's 4,500 diet books on Amazon. But as a hygienist, if you look healthy and you're say I'm listening to this book right now and I love it, I want your book. I don't want to be spending 6 hours trying to find which book to read. I want to read the book that got you looking the way you look. Why are you so happy? I want whatever you have. And that's being a social influencer online, but it's also being an influencer chairside. And patients are starving for it. Like they want it. They're looking for role models, healthy, authentic role models.
Well, what's up for you next? Like where are you going to next?
Oh, well, I'm doing 2 webinars for RDHU, right? So I think May 14th and 21st, I'm doing a part 1 and part 2 on the microbiome. So it's regularly a 6-hour course, but in that 2-part program for you guys, I'm putting all the key bits in, like what's the missing factor when patients don't know about bloating? How the fact that 97% of patients, 97, so only 3% of patients eat this nutrient, which 97% of people are missing. And because our microbiome has one fundamental need, and it's not an amino acid, it's not fat, but it's one food group, and it's missing in 97% of patients. And because they're not eating this one food group, every patient has background levels of inflammation, regardless if they exercise, sleep well, and they love their job, simply because they're not giving their bacteria this one food group. So in that part 1 and part 2 for you guys, I'm going to review what that food group is, how they can put it into their program, how it's cheap, it's very available, they can buy it within the next hour at any grocery store. So all those things I'm going to integrate into those 2 programs. I'm really looking forward to that. So that's May 14th and the 21st. I think is it an hour and a half? I'm not sure. So Kathleen, we just an hour and a half times 2.
Both days, yeah.
Yeah,
so
12 and 1:30.
I'm going to take it.
And it's how to stay lean effortlessly, how to have more energy effortlessly. If you eat this one food group, you can sleep deeper. You'll have less inflammation. Also, how as we get older, our microbiome becomes less diverse. So part of aging is we lose species. And if you lose, and so 70, 80, 90, every 9-year-old does not look as a 20-year-old. However, you can slow down aging simply by maintaining the diversity of your flora, which is wild. Because not only can you slow down aging, you can actually reverse age. So 5 years from now, you can actually look better than you do today simply by changing the way you eat and creating more diversity. But some people, due to bad habits, lose diversity very early. Antibiotics disrupt the flora up to 2 years, what gastroenterologists are saying. Stress loses diversity. Eating junk food loses diversity. So poor stress, junk food eating, not exercising, lowers diversity, and you'll get people undergoing what's called accelerated aging. And it's all by what we eat. So the hygienist needs to know that what you eat impacts the bacteria, the microbiome. So if patients are up the night before looking at probiotics or fiber or prebiotics, and you say, oh, I heard they don't need them, or I heard they don't work, you sound like a dinosaur. So you got to stay current by learning the vocabulary. So in those 2 programs, I'm going to teach people the vocabulary, how to feel confident with it, how to be comfortable talking about it chairside, and maybe yourself learning the different modalities so you could slow down aging and you can look the part. So that's my package for that RDH program.
Wow.
Can you review maybe the top 5 books and maybe one of each area? There's a lot of questions that are coming in, and you mentioned books for weight loss and for sleep, but you didn't maybe mention titles, or if you wanted to provide them in our follow-up email, we can send them the book titles if you don't know them offhand.
Okay. So I'd say probably over the last 16 years, I've read probably about 120. I'd say that I have a top 10 list.
Okay.
I might just share them in that program. But okay, I'll give one. I'll give one because I love this one. It's by Tim Spector. It's called Diet Myth.
Yes.
So Diet Myth by Tim Spector. He's an UK epidemiologist, brilliant. He blows through all the myths. Like one myth, he says, people always think you can't cook with extra virgin olive oil. You can, because in the Mediterranean, in the Middle East, they cook with olive oil, just not on high heat. Because in America, we rush, so we want it to smoke. You can't smoke it, but you can cook with olive oil on low heat. And olive oil is very good for your microbiome, and the bacteria love it with all the polyphenols. And this is why, one of the things I got in this book, and people don't realize how good olive oil is. I think they said in Greek, Spain, and Italy, they have averaged 24 liters a year each, 24 liters a year. In North America, the average person, 1 liter a year. And it's shown that olive oil epigenetically turns off inflammation in the blood vessels. So having extra virgin olive oil on a daily basis, epigenetically, which is your lifestyle, turns off inflammation in blood vessels. In one study, the PREDIMED study, they actually had to stop the study because people who weren't having olive oil were having strokes over the 6 years. So they were saying up to 2 to 3 tablespoons a day. And I got that out of that book. So if there's one little gift, one little nugget, Diet Myth by Tim Spector. I got the paperback and I got the audio, and love it. It's 2015, very current, very good, very modern, I like to say.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Do you have any opinion? There's a couple of questions that have come in, and I know there's all these diet trends. 2 that are very, very popular right now would be the intermittent fasting or macro counting. Do you have an opinion on either of those that you want to share?
Yeah, so macros, I'm not a big, I hear people, and they call it bro science, 2 bros talking in the gym. People talk, oh, my macros. I'm like, they just got it all wrong. And they make it so confusing, like, right? People talk about ketosis, and people are taking little strips and peeing on their cells in the bathroom. I'm like, why are we, like, you're not a scientist for crying out loud. Why are you peeing on your hand with a stick? Why are you sticking sticks in your mouth? So I like to make healthy eating effortless. I don't count calories. I don't look at macros. But they do have the new science, though, with intermittent fasting. And people have been fasting for thousands of years. So Ramadan, think of Yom Kippur. However, they have shown, though, fasting not only makes your microbiome more diverse, fasting lowers gut inflammation. And so they've shown that 80% of the cellular constituents of your immune system is in your gut. So 80% of all of our immune system is in our GI tract. And if your GI tract's inflamed, which it is almost for 70% of the population from not having this food group, poor sleep, not exercising, they have inflammation, we have a weaker immune system. So you can actually strengthen your immunity by lowering gut inflammation. One way to lower gut inflammation is to do intermittent fasting. A lot of people say 16 and 8, 6 days in 1, 5 and 2. The science is not in. So anyone who says this is the way it is, the new science is not in all the way. All they know is eating all the time is not good. And Julia Enders, she's a gastroenterologist out of Germany, she wrote a book called Gut, said that some scientists saying 5 hours between meals is the sweet spot, which is great for hygienists, because hygienists are always saying if you're going to snack on sugary snacks, have it with a meal, not on its own, because it makes it cariogenic. So it's really good as a hygiene point of view. So if you want to say, if a child is cariogenic or an adult is cariogenic, you're saying take a longer break between meals. And people, oh, can I eat my treats? Yeah, just have it with your dinner. Have it with your lunch. Have the treat with your lunch or dinner. So intermittent fasting is powerful. It lowers gut inflammation, slows down aging, slows down age-related muscle loss. So the same can be said by not eating as often. So back in the 90s, it was like 6 meals a day, very vanilla ice, very MC Hammer pants. Like, may as well do the Running Man as you're talking, you know, ice, baby. So now we need fewer meals. So it's all, and I said, Dr. Odiatu, this is so confusing. Well, medical practice, dental practice, nutrition is changing. Get on the new wagon, and I'll take you there. And now you have your patient's rapt attention. And if then, where do you get all this information? There's one book I'd read, Diet Myth. So it's written in layperson's language. So patients can get this information, learn it, and now you have an educated patient, which most dentists know. The minute your patients get more educated about veneers and crowns, they start asking better questions, they become more demanding. The minute you educate your patient, now they ask better questions, and now you have an engaged patient. Now you have a bi-directional conversation, and now you have patients that say, you know what, my whole family's come to see you. Enough of my kids seeing a different dentist and my spouse, they're all gonna come to see you. So it's a huge practice builder to talk whole body health. The patients are starving for it. They can't wait. They can't wait for the next hygiene visit, you know.
Wow.
Sorry.
There was a question as well here that came in about K2, I think it was, and tooth health. Do you know much about that or any?
Okay, I love that. I just bought some K2. So vitamin D. 80% of North Americans are low in vitamin D. 80%, because even though it was sunny yesterday, who was outside for an hour? Most people were in. Okay, you were chasing ducks and geese, and Kathleen was chasing the wildlife off the street, the coyotes and the bears. But most of us were still inside, so most people still don't get their vitamin D. Yeah. So they've actually shown now, they've actually increased. They had a really good, the Canadian Dental Association had a really good article. The front page was on supplements and vitamin D, and it said how low vitamin D supports a cariogenic physiology in the mouth, and moms, when they're pregnant, if they have low vitamin D, are more likely to have a child with soft teeth and caries prone. It was on the front page. They had all these studies showing how low vitamin D caries prone. So we didn't even talk about vitamin D. We always talk about calcium. We talk about acid. No one talks about vitamin D, and 80% of our patients are low in vitamin D. So if someone starts taking vitamin D, and most people don't eat enough vegetables, that means then when you have to supplement with K2. So D3 with K2 together is a good combination. You can get them, vitamin D3 with K2. And now if you're not eating enough vegetables, which most people don't, in order to absorb the D, you need to have K2 with it. And K2 is made in the stomach. But most people have disrupted bowels, gut inflammation, and that's why we got to take K2. And it's best taken with D, okay? And in preference, D drops. Vitamin D is better absorbed in dropper form. Tablets and capsules, people have poor digestions anyway. So it's just like, you can take vitamin D, but if you have poor digestion, which is 70% of people, you're not going to absorb it. Just like you can give $20 a week to your son as an allowance, but if he has holes in his pocket, it's going out. So a lot of people are taking stuff, but because they have poor digestion, nothing's working. And that's why a lot of older patients are low in B12, low in vitamin D. They're eating the food, but with poor digestion, they're not able to absorb it. So they said, we're not only as healthy as the foods we eat, it's the foods that we absorb. And because most people have less species of bacteria, they're deficient in all these nutrients, and they're getting old before their time. And that's why microbiome is this new science, which it's almost implicated in immune system health, slowing down aging, becoming insulin sensitive, having more alertness, being happy. I think it said 90% of serotonin is made in the GI tract. So if someone has dysbiosis, which is 70%, it's impossible to have total well-being because your body's not making serotonin. And depression is one of the #1 reasons for long-term disability. So this gut thing is massive, and people aren't sure about it, and it implicates it's in every part of our lives. So I've spent the last probably 4 years studying it and read all the latest books. I a full day lecture on it. So it's a fascinating area, but I am my own science. Like everything I recommend, I take, I do, I live it, and I try it out on me first, whether it's a probiotic or prebiotic or recipe, I try it on myself. I'm my own little Frankenstein at home.
Love it.
I'm just looking through some of the questions. Beth, are there any other questions here that have come in that we want to highlight? Now, there's quite a few that are coming in, and I know we can't answer them all.
There's a lot.
Really enjoying this, Uche.
Yeah.
Yes, I think you're in high demand here. There's a lot of, okay, so a lot of questions, and I know you said that you're going to maybe give us a couple of books. A lot of people mentioning sleep as an issue that for themselves or a family member or patients. Will you send maybe a book that you like around sleep in that list?
I could. There's a number of them. There's about 4 that I like. So, but still, you can have the information, but you're not acting on it. Like people are studying a sleep book and they're at 2 o'clock in the morning still up. So it's absurd. You know?
They're up reading it at 2
Reading the book,
a.m.
yeah.
So, Ariana Huffington, you ever remember Ariana Huffington? I think from Huffington Post.
Yeah.
She said, millionaire, neat lady, very profound lady, blogs, writes. She was actually talking with other women entrepreneurs about sleep deprivation. And they said, it's midnight, we're talking about sleep deprivation. And then one day she passed out working, broke her jaw, and she realized I'd hit rock bottom. In my desire to be the best businesswoman, I'm so void of health. And now she's on her path to health. So neat lady. There's actually words in Korean and Japan for working yourself to death and lacking sleep. It's called korosha. And there's no English equivalent of working yourself to death. People doing things in a kind of very military, I don't sleep, I'm an amazing hygienist, or I don't, look at me, I'm a mom, or I'm a dad, I don't sleep. And it's killing us, And people have to feel worthy of taking care of themselves. A lot of people don't feel worthy, like, I don't deserve to buy the best vitamins, or I'm gonna buy the cheapest this, or I can't afford to take a probiotic, or I can't afford to get to sleep, I need to stay up. And so it's as a self-worth thing. And I think, I'm not being sexist about it, but men have a kind of easier time sometimes thinking I'm worthy to buy this thing. But many of us, men and women, don't feel worthy of doing good things for us. But we're useless if we're dead. We're useless if we're sick. We're useless if we're not thinking lucid thoughts. So if you're a mom or dad, or if people depend on you, or if you have 1,000 patients, they need you to be healthy. They need you to have a long career. So I think feeling worthy is a big part of being healthy. Like you got to feel worthy of getting supplements. You got to feel worthy of exercising. You got to feel worthy of going to bed and having a good brain. So I think self-worth and feeling I deserve is a big part of that.
Right.
Any recommendations for simple tools to give to people that are having difficulty sleeping? I think getting up and trying to move, like a lot of us that get into the premenopausal or postmenopausal, you hear it all the time from patients, they just don't sleep. So any suggestions you can give us to pass by or...
They're very basic, and it's funny. People want some of the best coaches in the world, in NFL, NBA, and hockey. They do the basics, and people are always looking for the weird drills. Like, what is the weird drill that Pat Riley did? What's the weird drill that Michael Jordan did? He was fundamentally into the foundation. So a big part of sleeping deep is moving, and they said regular physical activity lowers muscular tension. So the reason why we feel anytime you're anxious or breathing shallow, either a mouth breather or you're sitting down, you're breathing or leaning over. Even I'm leaning over. My muscles are working harder and there's tension involved. So that tension increases cortisol. So cortisol is incompatible with melatonin. So it's impossible to go to bed at night worried, because when you're worried, you have muscular tension. People who are physically active, it lowers muscular tension. So physically active people have lower muscular tension throughout the whole day, not just while exercising, throughout the whole day. They also have more GABA, G-A-B-A, which is a neurotransmitter that quietens down and regulates the brain. They also have more serotonin, which makes you have more peace of mind and feel chilled out. So people think I'm going to tell them about a pill, but basically if you're physically active, you will sleep deeper. And by sleeping deeper, you'll have the discipline to work out the next day because you won't be exhausted. So, and then if you're exhausted, you choose poorly. Your inhibition's lower. What happens is you eat comfort foods, and comfort foods at the time lower cortisol. So comfort foods like apple pie and ice cream have a short-term benefit in the body. However, what they do is so they lower the cortisol right away. So right away you think, tough day, apple pie, ice cream. So in that moment, it lowers cortisol. But night after night, week after week, year after year, you'll get higher A1C and more levels of inflammation. So eating when you're unhappy or stressed or sad or anxious is one of the worst things you could do, because right away, your body does not want food in it when you're upset. The body does not want you to eat. All the body wants to do is fight or run. So if you're putting apple pie in, your enzymes are going, what the hell are you doing? So now digestion slows. So now you hyperabsorb calories. And now you have dysbiosis or you have reflux. So it's really profound. And I think I have just read enough and I've learned enough and listened enough that I've learned ways to hack the body, and they're easy. Like people often say, oh, Uche, your stuff is so common sense. Who's doing it? 70% of people aren't getting enough sleep. 1/3 are getting less than 6 hours. 95% are eating this food group to have a good biome. So it might be common sense, but how do you take action on it? And it's almost like accountability daily, an application. I know it, but I'm not doing it.
Uche, one of the things for me, I didn't realize, but for years I suffered with sleep apnea.
Oh.
So I remember when I interviewed you, we were in Maryland and we talked about sleep, and I was telling you I don't sleep well. And so I actually went for a sleep test last May, and I have severe sleep apnea. So I had no clue. But looking back, I have all these symptoms of bad sleep, like brain fog, memory. I had nightmares every night because my body was trying to wake me up. So I'd be getting hit by a bus, I'd get thrown off a roller coaster. It was like action every night.
Wow.
But now I haven't had one bad dream since I started my machine.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing. And I wake up feeling really good every day. And I just didn't know. I just thought this was the norm for me, that I was just working too hard. So that's one thing I'm really passionate about, is getting people, dental hygienists, to actually screen their clients and even screen themselves, right? Because here I am, and we are always interviewing people and holding all these courses, but I had no idea that I had severe sleep apnea, where I stopped breathing 55 times in an hour. So
wow, that's scary.
It is scary, yeah. So that's my message to anyone who has very active nights, bad dreams, going to the washroom a few times in the night. Like, those were all the symptoms that I was having, and I didn't put it all together.
Yeah, and in Canada, we're so lucky. A sleep test, polysomnography is free. Like in the States, my American colleagues, they'll say, I tell patients to go, but they have no insurance, or it costs $2,000, $3,000 for a good study. And some of those things where you send people home with a little oxygen thing, a little pulsometer, that's not the same. That's not the same. Like a sleep study, it's a 4-page report. There's a technician that watches you with a video camera all night. You have a video camera. You're wired with pads everywhere. They look at how much you dream, how many times you moved, your blood pressure. They know things about you. So a little pulse, this little oxygen thing is like, it's nice, oxygen saturation. Well, dreaming, they literally said, they've done a study with people dreaming in university. This is to go back when I was at my undergrads in, I majored in psychology. They took 4 university students. And what they did was, they wanted to show how important rapid eye movement sleep was, or dreaming. So they had 4 students. So all night, they were paid like whatever, $20 for this. So all night, anytime their eyeballs moved side to side, they basically nudged them. So the minute you're nudged when you're dreaming, you stop dreaming. So after the first night, even though they got 8 hours, the next day, they were all kind of a little helter-skelter. 3 days, they were having like lucid dreams in the day. 4, they were acting psychotic. And they simply had 8 hours sleep, but they weren't dreaming enough. They literally were denied REM sleep. So most people think of rapid eye movement sleep as dreaming about whatever, a next holiday. But meanwhile, dreaming is your brain sorts things out at nighttime. So think of, if you're waking up 55 times an hour out of deep sleep, you probably weren't dreaming. They say you need 100 minutes a night of rapid eye movement sleep. So hence the years of brain fog and not feeling great and coffee and waking up with a headache and not now. You're probably more productive. You're earning more. Like the business is booming. So sleep is one of the ways to make your life better, like financially, emotionally, physically. And people think, oh, it's common sense, but 70% of people aren't getting enough sleep, and 30% sleep less than 6 hours. So it's wild. So that's a great testimony, Kathleen.
Thank you. All right. So
one final question. You touched on stress as a major impact on our health in general. Do you have any advice for this current situation and the level of stress a lot of people are finding themselves under, given what's going on in our world?
Yeah, I think either people are freaking out early and now they're more relaxed, or they were more chill early. Like, oh, I'm just going to do 8 hours of CE. I'm going to paint my house. I'm going to sod my yard, and I'm going to learn Spanish. And then now they're freaking out. But anytime you feel helpless, anytime about finances or work or PPE, people having nightmares being chased by 95 masks and chased by shields. So we have a lot of background noise, and background noise doesn't help you sleep deep. So, so in terms of lowering the background noise, there's a really good book called The Untethered Soul. It's called The Untethered Soul, and it's by, I think, could be Stryker or Singer, Untethered Soul. And it's all about how to quieten down the chatter, because most of us have a background chatter. Deepak Chopra talks about this. He talks about the constant thoughts we have. And he said, because most of us, we all have thoughts, most of us think we are our thoughts. But he said, if you can create some distance between your thoughts, if you become the watcher of your thoughts or become detached from them, you can actually lower anxiety. So he says, you have thoughts, but you're not your thoughts. This is Deepak Chopra. So the book, so I've read some of his stuff. I've been to some of his courses like 24 years ago. But Michael Singer, I think his name is, so The Untethered Soul, talks about how to take that negative chatter and put it in a room and say, I will listen to you when you start behaving, and you become present. So another way is to take a deep breath in through your nose. They said if you breathe in through your nose, you go from sympathetic to parasympathetic. And you can actually detach, you can actually, like the DJs at a rave, you scratch your nervous system and you go to like, it's impossible to think, if you're grateful, like if you think of something you're grateful about, it's impossible to think anxious thoughts at the same time. And they did a good study in the University of California. Dr. Sonia Liborsky said, feeling grateful is incompatible with stress. So anytime you're feeling out of control, what am I happy about? I have 2 limbs. I have an amazing career. I enjoy my relationships. I'm so happy to be alive. The minute you're thinking grateful, anxiety goes down. So it's a great way before going to bed. Just think of 3 or 4 or 5 things you're grateful for. It lowers muscular tension. It lowers your breathing. You start breathing in through your nose, and now you can drift off to sleep. So gratitude can help people sleep. And that's something you can talk about chairside.
Well, I was going to say that can be a really good tool, because we're going to be anxious going back. I know I am a bit anxious of not knowing, and I'm like, okay, I want to know all the things that are happening. What day am I going back? Who's going to be my first patient? And we don't have that information. But as our patients and our clients come in, they're going to be super anxious. So focusing on gratitude, focusing on what we have and that we're thankful for all these things may put them at ease, and ultimately will help us, I think, as well. That was a really good point. Thank you. And
it's so simple, but it's, but what's easy to do is easy not to do. But yeah. I know myself, I'm driving down the road. I'm thinking, why am I in a hurry to get to someplace I really want to be? I'm just grateful my car is running well. Mm-hmm. I'm grateful that I pay my 407 bill on time. I'm grateful for this music on Spotify. What a beautiful sunset. And right away, anxiety goes down. So gratitude is like, people don't use it enough. It's immediate. It's immediate. It puts you very present very immediately. Like, what am I happy about? Who's in my life and makes me feel good?
Can we be thankful for our wine?
What's that?
Can we be thankful for our wine? Let's be honest. People have been asking about drinking, and not drinking, but having a glass of wine or what have you, and how does it affect the gut and, all the stress hormones that are going through? Great question. If you drink alcohol, drinking with food is better than drinking alcohol on its own. We drink alcohol on its own, it spikes blood sugar, pancreas pumps out insulin, and now you get a nosedive, and now you're starving for carbs. So the French have it right. They drink wine, but they do cheese or nuts with it. So if you drink wine with dinner, but drinking on its own is never a good thing. But I was in Napa at the ADA annual session last September, and I went through all of these wineries, and I found out that Pinot Noir is one of the lower glycemic wines because it's a grape that picks early and it's not as sugary. So if you're going to drink a red wine, Pinot Noir is one that you could possibly drink on its own without having the big sugar spike that most other wines are. So there's an insider tip. Everyone's going Pinot Noir. But if you're going to drink on its own, Pinot Noir is the one to go to. So there you go. Can you get us a group rate on ordering somehow? That way we'll set up a winery in Niagara and bottle Pinot Noir, okay? Yes, there we go. There we go.
Oh. All right. So is there any more questions, Beth, or?
There's probably a million questions.
Yeah,
He's given us so much information.
Yes.
Yeah, we're all going to be in your class on May 14th.
Yeah, May 14th. I think it's at, what time is it, Kathleen?
12 until 1:30 on May 14th, and then part 2 on May 21st. Both from
standard time.
So I'm focusing just on the microbiome, and it's not esoteric. It's real world application, and it's taken from nutrition, exercise, dental, medical, and it's my own spin on it. But it's how to talk about it chairside in a very confident manner. If anything, you'll leave it thinking, wow, I got this. I can do this. It's not like
3 hour.
Yeah, I don't like to create confusion. I create effortless. It's easy. Like no one has to think, oh, I got to go to Uche's mountain retreat and meditate with him. No. After those 2 programs, you will have enough to talk confidently chairside. But let's do a mountain retreat. Let's go to.
That's what I'm thinking.
An RDH.
And also, Uche, if anyone wants to follow you, it's at Fit Speakers.
Yeah, so Fit Speakers is my Instagram. To give an idea how much I post, and people think, Uche, why do you give all this information away? Because it's selfish, because every time I share, it goes deeper into my brain. If I read an article and share 3 points, now I own it. So to give an idea, and this sounds crazy, I've posted 400 times since January 1st. Wow. I've posted 400 times. And so Fit Speakers is the best place. I get questions, I get messages, I talk about books, I talk about the latest studies, I show my recipes, I show exercise programs. And even if they go back and looking at past posts. I have 3,800, almost as much as Kim Kardashian, for crying out loud. Kim Kardashian, 4,400. I have 3,600 posts since I started. So it's all there. It's all there. So so Instagram's the best place. And my website is druche.com. So druche.com. And I have articles on there. I've written articles with a hygienist. I've got other articles. People can message me there. You can email me there. So I like to be accessible, because sharing means it's very selfish, because it goes deeper into my own brain. But Instagram is the go-to place for sure. Instagram.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Uche. And we know you have another webinar you're hopping on shortly.
Yeah, for sure. But you guys are great. Like, I appreciate I feel the connection here. I feel dentists and hygienists can work together in cohesive conversation, and we'll all get back to work. And we're very fortunate to be in the dental career, because this dental industry is that it's perfectly poised, because this whole gateway to health, it's through the mouth, and we are the caregivers of the mouth. Like the dental industry, the hygienist, the dentist, the assistant, we are the gatekeepers of the masticatory apparatus. And if there's one way to make your microbiome healthier, is to change the way you eat. So this is the gateway. You know, people talk about P. gingivalis. The gateway is the mouth, and we are in charge of helping people have a healthy mouth, and we have their attention. And I think there's never been a better time to be a hygienist, never been a better time to be a dentist. It's a great industry. So being grateful, I'm now lowering my cortisol and slowing down aging.
I love that. All right, and then we have a special announcement to make as well. So Uche, I'm going to take your course on May 14th.
Yeah,
so we'll see me on there.
More than welcome, for sure.
I'm excited. Yeah. So thank you so much for being here with us. That was amazing. I've got lots of great ideas, and it is a journey, that's for sure. And sometimes we just fall into a rut where we're doing things that aren't really good for us. And then it's having things like this that happens today that you can start now, right? Not tomorrow or the next day, you can start now, and you can really make a difference in your life. So
by midnight tonight, either have a salad, go for a walk, follow me on Instagram, take action before midnight, and you'll be well on your way to having fun. So, but thank you for letting me go. I know you got lots of work. Anna, Carrie, Beth.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so now I'm going to share my screen. One moment, please. All right.
Just while you're doing that, Kathleen, I do apologize. There were just so many questions. So we tried our best to ask them when it was appropriate and not completely interrupt everything he was saying. But if you are able to, then join for the human microbiome course. Lots of questions on that. So if you go to the RDHU website, it is there under the courses. Okay.
All right. So we have some really exciting news to share. Oops, if I can do this. So one of the things that we really have been talking about a lot, and one of the things that we've been doing with everybody, is trying to stay connected, to stay engaged. You know, we share things through our On Track Tuesday and through the RDH View. So by offering these courses and these webinars, we're all learning new things. And we know that when we're learning new things, it makes us happy. It makes us feel engaged. It makes us feel good. And it changes our mindset as well. So we can go through times, especially with all this uncertainty, like Carrie was saying earlier, like when are we going back? What's it going to look like? But we've also received a lot of emails from people saying that, they're taking a loss of wage. They're concerned about financial, and we really promote, like, take your CE now, do it now, while, especially like if you're being audited this year. So it's a great time. You have all this extra time that you can really focus. So it's benefiting you on so many different aspects, right? It's helping you with your mind. It's helping you stay connected with your profession. It's helping you learn and think about things that you can be excited about to add to your practice when you get back. So this is kind of like our Oprah moment, which we're so excited about. And so here we go. It's the Crest Neuroplasticity RDHU RDHCE Relief Program. So we've partnered with Crest. This is a gift from RDHU and from Crest Neuroplasticity, and we are going to be paying for your CE with this program. All right, so it's the relief program to help you while you're at home. And what it includes, we're doing the Dental Hygiene Quarterly. So for those of you who are already on Dental Hygiene Quarterly, we're going to email you separately and you'll have a special code, because then we're going to add 2 extra seasons onto your existing package. So for those of you who are new, we're going to add spring into your portal. You'll have your own personal portal, so you'll have access to the 3 hours right away. Summer we will upload and fall we will upload. But in the meantime, because summer's not here and fall's not here, we're going to be doing these live now. So we're going to, and some of them are already created as well. So for instance, we're going to do the Maintain Your Edge, a sharpening workshop, and a discovery of new leading edge instruments. And so we'll give you an electronic sharpening guide that you can use now, but also the decision tree for instrument selection. And we know we're probably going to be doing a lot more hand scaling right now, I would think, until we can sort out what's going on with the aerosols. And we have, you know, Anna Louise does the mastery of skills at RDH, and we're hoping that we're going to be back to that soon. It'll probably be a small classroom, which we already do anyway, right, Anna Louise?
Yep.
So, yeah, so you'll have access to that as well coming up. But for this special, we're doing, so we'll have the Maintain Your Edge. We'll have lasers with Chrissy Ford. So she just recorded one and sent it to us just last week. So that's going to be uploaded into the summer, but also access for you now if you want to take this course now. Canberra, Carrie did Canberra part 1. So that one's already recorded. So you'd have access to that now. Sleep apnea, so this is my own personal journey. So what dental hygienists need to know to help save lives. And I am going to record that for Dental Hygiene Quarterly, but also offer it live. Elevate your understanding for the new classifications, where we talk about documentation and verbiage with Carrie. And then Canberra, again, that'll be part 2 for the fall. So that will all be available to you now. And then as a special bonus, what we're doing is 2020, the year of COVID-19. So this is a great course that Anna Louise has put together for us. And that's on Monday, May 11th from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we have the new AAP guidelines looking at how inflammation and infection contribute to oral systemic connection. Now that's a 6-hour course that Carrie's giving online. It starts Wednesday, so it'll be 2 hours Wednesday and then 2 hours the following Wednesday and again the following Wednesday. So we'll see how many people we can get on for that to start this week. And then we've also scheduled Carrie again for June. So now if we're back at work in June, then we're just going to modify and we'll hold it at night or on the weekend, okay? So right now, most of us are at home. So we will have access to, you know, live, which we're doing already right now. I think we have something going on every day right now. So it's been really rewarding for us and super excited about this. So RDHU and Crest Neuroplasticity are going to pay for your education for those courses, get you on the Dental Hygiene Quarterly, and just help you out while we can, right? And there's a special promo code. So when you go to that web form, which is here, you go to rdhu.ca//Crest Oral B Relief. That will bring you to the web form. I will also send this through email to everybody. It'll just be a straight link, but we had to create this web form for people that can actually type it in because the actual link is very long. So this will give you access, and we're going to offer this to the first 1,000 people, okay? So the first 1,000 people are going to have access to this. It is free, and it's only going to be offered for this month, okay? So it's May the 4th, and it's kind of like, may the floss be with you. celebration. And then it'll be until June 1st. Okay, so it won't be June 2nd or June 3rd. So if you ask us afterwards, we can't do it. It's for the first 1,000 people, and after that, we can't do it. Okay, so if this is something you want to take advantage of, this is it here. Take advantage of it now. And that's what we're so excited about. And as Beth was saying earlier, I'm going to give you CE. I'm going to give you CE, just like Oprah would be offering.
You get CE and you get CE. Everyone gets CE.
Yeah, so we're really excited about it. We've been trying to put this together for a few weeks just to see how it'll look, what can we do, and really excited to roll this out. And it starts today, so you can go ahead and go to that website, and that is the promo code. But you'll also see when you go to that website or to that URL, it'll prompt you and it'll tell you. So when you go to the order form, you have to type in Crest Oral B DHQ to get the discount. It's like $350 worth of CE that you're getting, okay? And then just to finish this off, I wanted to show you this video. Some of you have already seen it, but just as a reminder of why we got into this profession. You know, it's trying times for us, but
there are so many reasons why you became a dental hygienist. It's more than just teaching him great oral habits right from the beginning and how he'll show his baby brother what he's learned. It's more than just cleaning her teeth to help her create the smile she's dreamt about. By giving them the best oral health outcomes possible, you help them make the most out of life. And that's something to be proud of.
all right. And that's the surprise. I hope you're all happy with that, and really, really thrilled to be able to do this with you and to have such amazing presenters all on board with it. And thank you to everyone who's a part of RDH. You just make us feel so good, like the emails that we get and just the connection. It's been really rewarding. I could cry right now, but no, it has. It's been a wonderful experience. And for us to, you know, just to think about ways that we can stay connected. And we have a wonderful profession. You know, it's such an honor really to be here with all of you today. So I just want to thank you all for being a part of RDHU, and then to our cast members for being in my life. I'm so fortunate to have you guys with us. And yeah, so that's it for me. If you have any questions, you can always reach out, info@rdhu.ca. The link isn't working. Oh, that's not good. Let me look.
Yeah, there's a couple people who said that. So let's just look into that while we've got people here.
Okay. rdhu.ca/crest oral B relief. Yeah. Did I type it wrong?
Let me check. I took a picture of it, so let me just try it on my end. Okay, Kath? And then
I'm going to type it again.
Sure. And I'll do it while you do that.
Yeah, that's what I typed here too.
In our follow-up email, can you send just the direction on the link, and so they can just click on that? Because maybe it's, you know, a backslash, a forward slash. I get those confused when I put them in.
Yeah, I'm going to show you right here.
Yeah, it worked for me as well. It worked for me.
Here, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to just try to move this black bar up here. That's it there. So rdhu.ca/crest oral B relief, I before E. And that'll take you right here to this package or to this web form. All right. And there we have it.
What an excellent afternoon. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, ladies. Wow. I think my head's going to explode with
I know.
Dr.
Uche has
Uche's
me wanting to
information.
Like I always try to move every hour, but now I'm going to do it every half an hour.
Exactly. That alone, we can all make that work this afternoon, right?
We should have stopped halfway through and done like an arm movement. And
I
had
know.
We're going to have to add that to all of our online streaming stuff. Okay, we've reached the 30-minute mark. We all need to do some.
Well, it's true though, because you can just sit here and like be on the computer. We've done that so many days where you're just like drawn in, and and it can become a very bad habit. You can just, so to move, but once you start to move, it gets easier and easier and easier every day, right? It's and yes, you have to add your credit card. That's the only way we can really opt in. Like it's a portal that I pay for. Like it's called Thinkific, and we have to activate it by somebody's credit card. So it has to have that. That's the only, but
lots of questions about that. So I'm glad that you answered that part. Do you want to, for the people who were already registered in Carrie's course, did you say something?
So what we're going to do is we're going to move those registrations into Anna Louise's course. So you get both of them, which is amazing because the classifications is huge. And you're not going to learn everything in one go. It's something like, you know, for last year, people use it as their goal for portfolio. For those of us who have portfolios, it's all about learning about it, right? This year, we're implementing it because it's expected from us, no matter where you're practicing, it's expected that we are implementing this whole assessment, right? So having Anna Louise's course and Carrie's course together is fantastic. So it's going to help you deepen your learning. So if you've already enrolled in these things and you are enrolling into this free program, then don't worry, we have something for you. I won't take credit card. Okay, so credit card portion. I'll have to look into,
it could be, Dan, that there are so many people right now trying to get on. I have a feeling that that's part of it. I was a bit worried when we had over 700 people running in here live today that we would have a bit of a delay. So I think part of the problem with the website right now is just that it is probably inundated.
Yeah, because we did a test and Pearl went through it and a few other people went through it, and it was working. So just give it a moment. I'm also going to check with the company that helps us set everything up.
Yeah, I think it's the amount of people at the exact same time who did it probably overwhelmed the system. So we will look into it on our end, and maybe try again in a little bit once we've kind of sorted that out. But I think it's just a system overload right now.
Okay.
Kind of like trying to get through to EI and all those different.
I was gonna say it's like the newest thing of CERB. It's now the RDH.
Yeah, and you know what? Without everybody that's attending, we really have gone from 100 people to, you know, over 900 people signed up for this one. And really, we want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts to yours for spending your time with us and choosing us to, you know, listen to. And, you know, if there are topics you want us to talk on, people you think that we should interview, email info@rdhu, and we'll see what we can do to kind of pull it together. We're always looking for different angles, and we truly do love what we do, and we're just, the four of us are here just to help people. That's really why we do what we do. So.
I agree, Carrie. Well said.
Yes, exactly.
So it goes from today till June 1st, and for the first 1,000 people. I will, capital letters on promo code, yes. And I will just make sure, but it was working. We've tested it. So like you say, it could be just bogged down.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, even on our end with the questions coming in, you can just, you get a picture of how many people are on right now. So I imagine the system is experiencing something very similar.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Kathleen, is it free for everyone, or do you already need a subscription to RDHU? Well, our membership for RDHU has always been free. Do they need to be a member of RDHU first and then?
So really, if you're on here, we consider you to be part of our membership. We consider you to be part of our RDHU nation or family. So yeah, so you are with us, and it's for everybody who's connected with us. You can share it as well with your colleagues, and then they will become part of us as well. So yeah, so feel free to share it. I will send out an email. There's beautiful Grace. I will send out.
Waited so long.
Hi, Grace. It's so funny because I say hello to Grace every day, and then when I'm dressed like this, she didn't know who I was because usually no makeup, hair's up, sloppy, and so she's like, "Who is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's Miss Kathleen."
She thought she was. She's like, "Is it done? I waited." No, not done.
So cute.
Yeah, so cute.
All right. So everything is good? Your gateway has been disabled. Oh.
Yeah, we'll look into it. Obviously, we need to look into it, and we will. So hang tight. Maybe try and maybe, what should we say realistically? Kath, should we tell them to all maybe try in an hour after we've had time to?
From Arizona, the lady that's helping me. So she's 3 hours behind, but it's 10. Yeah, so we should have it going today.
As long as you all don't go run and tell all your hygiene friends.
Yeah, don't tell anybody.
And we'll all have time to sign up and then tell your friends tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So that would be the way to go about it, because the 4 of us need to sign up because we all want to go.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to sign up beforehand.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Now it's a race.
Oh my gosh.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Ladies, it was a super awesome interview. I can't wait to watch it again and get some of his pearls, because I was trying to make my notes and it looked like a disaster on my page as I was trying to write down all these things that he was saying, because there was so much wisdom. And there are no handouts from this. It really is a casual conversation. So part of it is come here, come with your notebook. You can watch it again. You can make your notes. We'll give out as many tidbits or resources as we can, but it's pretty amazing, some of the people we've had on.
Yes, we've been very fortunate, and Uche is always, well, never disappointing. You always leave learning something now, but I'm so grateful we're going to be able to watch it again. In the early days, it was a one-shot deal. Yeah. We were stunned because he was so, yeah, he is amazing.
Yeah. So yes, there is a promo code. I see some of the questions, and we've tested it. We just go to that website. It tells you what the promo code is, and then you just kind of. So it should just work. So I will check it out as soon as we hang up, and then I'm going to send an email out to everybody who's on here as well. So it's working for some people. It could be, like you say, just bogged down. And maybe you're excited and you're going in there fast or something and hitting the wrong button or something. Oh boy. Great day. What a great day.
That's right.
Yeah. And what do they say? You're the average of the 5 people you hang around with, and you guys are my 4. So, or I'm the 4th, but you guys are my 3. Counting 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're your 4. Whoever's watching today, we're your 4 for today.
Exactly.
All right, ladies.
Well, thanks, ladies. Yeah.
I will see you guys later, and the recording will be available, and the CEs will be sent out later after they do the quiz, right? They got to do the quiz to get their CEs, and that's all happening. It is in the works.
And we're uploading everything into a new portal so that it'll be the RDH View portal. You'll have access to it, and all the past sessions will be in there, and then there'll be a couple of questions, and then your certificate will populate in there.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. All right.
Excellent. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Bye, Grace.
Thank you. Bye. Yeah. Bye, Grace.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye.
See ya.